this is one of the primary reasons why I was so excited to have you as my first guest, Zara. Because, you know, मुझे इस चीज़ से बहुत तकलीफ होती है देख के कि लोगों ने ना एक जिसको तकवा कॉस्ट्यूम कहते हैं वो बनाया हुआ है कि you need to learn, you need to look a certain way
to talk about Islam
or to
जैसे इस्लाम किसी एक का है और उन्होंने एक बाउंड्री सेट की हुई है.
If you dare to have the courage to say you love Islam, then you must look a certain way. And the problem with that is
you must be from a certain profession. You should not know music or anything related to art. क्या खोया और क्या पाया है. और फिर एक दिन जब एक शदीद एंग्जाइटी का अटैक होता है या बिल्कुल हेजी हो जाता है, सब ब्रेन फॉग हो जाता है, तो आपको समझ आता है कि ये मुझे क्या हो रहा है. You become suicidal, you become very angry, you become mean, you become bitter. And that's when you realize that so many untapped emotions within me are there to be healed, but because I'm in a rut, तो मैं उनको ख़त्म ही नहीं कर सकी. After meeting you, I grew a very close relationship with my religion. Alhamdulillah, I was not a very practicing Muslim, but now I feel like yes, maybe I am becoming one. And I feel like बहुत सारी चीज़ें थी जो मुझे नहीं पता चली, but I read up on a lot of messengers, and I understood that all of them had a very, very tough life.
Yes, they did.
So अगर Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hazrat Ali raziyallahu anhu, everybody had very tough lives. So अगर उन सब की ज़िंदगियाँ इतनी मुश्किल थी, then who are we?
Exactly, right? And that was one
then
of
this
the
world
reasons.
is a test, and you must understand that there is completely life after this, which means heaven or hell.
Exactly, and that if you understand Islam, then you don't even have to wait till you die. Your life will get better right away. Real solutions only happen when you work on yourself. And the first step is to get to know yourself. Majority of people, it is such a sad thing. You know, I say this, that majority of people have not met the most magnificent person that they will ever meet in the world. And that is their own self. Right? And you got to meet that person. How exciting is that?
I feel like sometimes it is a very dark spot. It's a very dark place where you have to go, and some parts of you are not very shiny and bright. So जब आप अपने आप से मिलते हैं तो शुरू में बहुत डर लगता है.
Assalamu alaikum to this first podcast with Eram Saeed. And I'm so happy and excited that we are starting with someone who is a superstar in Pakistan, yes, but one of my favorite people to know. Zara Noor Abbas needs no introduction. So welcome, Zara. Assalamu alaikum. Wonderful to have you with me.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy and I'm so honored that this is your first podcast, right?
Yes.
And I am the first guest.
Yes, first podcast in Pakistan, yes.
Yes, so, mashallah. Congratulations.
So, thank you.
How are you feeling?
Normal. I've done it.
You get to know about the response, फिर आपको feel होगा कि क्या है.
Well, I mean, interviews तो मैं पिछले कोई 15 साल से कर रही हूँ. So I'm very comfortable doing interviews, but I did those back home in America. But in Pakistan, it's my first one. So I'm excited that it's with you, somebody that I'm already very comfortable with. And I'm also excited because you have some very important things to share, Zara. As you know, mera passion, the reason why I do what I do is to really help empower people in general, but especially women, Muslim women. And you are such a prime example of what is possible with even just a little bit of work on themselves, you know. We've been working together now for a month and a half, Yeah, that's nothing. It's 6 weeks.
It's nothing, and I feel like there's so much more to learn. There's so much more to know. But even that slightest bit of what I've come to understand about myself, I feel like my entire life can be put in one part of the area, and this little bit of 6 weeks can be put in a separate dimension. Because मुझे नहीं लगता कि जितनी information और knowledge मुझे आपसे मिलने के बाद मिली है, about myself. It's so funny. आपसे मिलने के बाद मुझे अपने बारे में क्या-क्या पता चला है. That has really been very awakening for me.
I think that's an important point, Zara, जो आप कह रही हो, because you know, मेरा जब से when I went viral, which was totally accidental, unexpected, unplanned in Pakistan, what I get a lot is, you know, people messaging me on all the different platforms, thinking कि इससे अगर हम अपनी प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस कर लेंगे तो ये हमें कोई गोली दे देगी या सोल्यूशन दे देगी, and then our life is going to be fixed. And I can be that person, like a lot of people that जिन्होंने अपनी दुकान इसी चीज़ पे चमकाई भी है, right? I can be a पीर बाबा for people जो गोली या तावीज़ देता रहता है, but that's not really my passion. What I know personally, because I've been on this journey for many years myself, couple of decades, that real solutions only happen when you work on yourself. And the first step is to get to know yourself. Majority of people, it is such a sad thing. You know, I say this, that majority of people have not met the most magnificent person that they will ever meet in the world. And that is their own self. Right? And you got to meet that person. How exciting is that?
I feel like sometimes it is a very dark spot. It's a very dark place where you have to go, and some parts of you are not very shiny and bright. So जब आप अपने आप से मिलते हैं तो शुरू में बहुत डर लगता है कि इतना सब कुछ मेरे अंदर.
Why do you think कि डर लगता है?
Because I feel like we are made up of the environment that we live in. And बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें जो हम, so you know, the brain doesn't know yes or no. The brain only catches a signal or a message or a feeling or an energy. So brain तो सब consume कर रही है. In the age that we are right now, इतनी information है, but उसकी implementation कोई नहीं है. उसका कोई outcome नहीं है. मतलब activities क्या हैं? खाना खा लें, घूम लें, फिर लें. There's no real activity. There's no real mind exercise that we're doing with ourselves to really understand कि इतनी सारी energy को रखना कहाँ है, इसको निकालना कहाँ है. एंड आई थिंक उसी सारे प्रोसेस में जब आप 9 to 5 अपनी जॉब कर रहे होते हैं या 10 to 10 भी जॉब कर रहे होते हैं, एक बर्नआउट हो जाता है जिसमें आपको रियलाइज़ ही नहीं होता कि आपने क्या खोया और क्या पाया है. और फिर एक दिन जब एक शदीद एंग्जाइटी का अटैक होता है या बिल्कुल हेजी हो जाता है, सब ब्रेन फॉग हो जाता है, तो आपको समझ आता है कि ये मुझे क्या हो रहा है. यू बिकम सुसाइडल, यू बिकम very angry, you become mean, you become bitter. And that's when you realize that so many untapped emotions within me are there to be healed, but because I'm in a rut, तो मैं उनको ख़त्म ही नहीं कर सकी.
पता है ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात है ज़ारा, ये हम सब लोग करते हैं, by the way. Everybody does this. As we go through different life experiences, including childhood, then, you know, when we're teenagers, and then young adults, and then so on and so forth, things happen, events happen, right? Some of them are very, very painful, which we call trauma. And बजाय इसके कि उसको हम process कर सकें, क्योंकि आता ही नहीं process करना. What we do in life is that we basically, मैं अपने course में एक मिसाल देती हूँ कि imagine you have a tub full of water, a big tub full of water, and I give you a beach ball. हवा से भरा हुआ जो ball होता है, right? I give you a beach ball, and I tell you, can you please hold this down? Hold it underwater. If it's one ball, it's easy for you to hold it underwater. Then I give you another ball and I say, now hold this underwater simultaneously, and you can hold both of them underwater. And then I give you a third one. Now you are going to have to finagle a little bit. Then I give you a fourth one, you're in more trouble. Then I give you a fifth one, sixth one. So ये beach balls जो हैं, ये basically that is unprocessed trauma. These are the emotions that we don't want to face. And on a daily basis, we are constantly juggling these beach balls. कभी इसको नीचे कर रहे हैं, कभी इसको नीचे कर रहे हैं, कभी इसको नीचे कर रहे हैं. So we are managing these emotions.
Because of the routine that we're in.
Well, the routine distracts us. Right? Routine is a very clever distraction that we manufacture so that we don't have to deal with these emotions because they're scary for us. They're painful. So कोई लाइफ इवेंट ऐसा होता है जो कि हमारी वो जो मैनेजमेंट एबिलिटी है उसमें हमारी बैंडविड्थ को कंप्लीटली यूज अप
आपको याद है बाजी जब मैं आपसे पहली दफ़ा मिली थी, आई थिंक दैट वाज Women's Day पे, right? And just before that, of course, everybody knows that I've been through something in my life जिसकी वजह से there's a lot of unhealed parts of me that keep on coming back, and I thought कि अच्छा ये हो जाएगा eventually fix. But the first time I met you, when we had a session, I was howling and I couldn't control my emotions, and मैं बस रोई जा रही थी and और मुझे लग रहा था कि मेरे हर सवाल का जवाब आपके पास है. And that's when you told me that if you start my course and by the end of the course, I'm not saying you will make the perfect decision for your life, but I'm saying you'll exactly know what you want.
You will have clarity.
Said, yeah. And because the moment I got out of your place, I realized that there was a lot of calmness in me. I thought कि अच्छा हो जाएगा कुछ. Something will happen. Right or wrong, I don't know, but something better than this will happen.
Yeah, because clarity is a big gift from God. ये जो मैं आपको बीच बॉल्स वाली अभी दे रही थी मिसाल कि yes, something traumatic happens in our life and then all those beach balls come up जो हम बहुत देर से manage कर रहे होते हैं, and it takes a lot of energy on a daily basis for us to push those emotions down. So then something happens जो कि मेरी नज़र में it's a blessing from Allah Ta'ala, although it's usually an event that brings us down to our knees.
And my question is कि बड़े लोगों के साथ बड़ा कुछ होता है. Like I see there मतलब people are dying every day and so many people are suffering from so many things. Abhi, there was a huge earthquake in Turkey and so many children got affected. But why do we, or maybe I sometimes question myself, that why do I take things so sensitively? Is it because each person is differently programmed because of their childhood? So that's why they're so sensitivity prone?
Well, there's two things to that. One is that yes, some people are more sensitive than others. They are called empaths. They pick up on other people's emotions more than a normal person.
Okay.
So I know you are an empath. Yeah. I am an empath. It's difficult for me to hear about very painful, even when my own students tell me their stories, it's difficult for me to hear it because I take on the emotions. I feel them. एक तो ये बात है. दूसरी बात ये है कि which you've learnt in the course, that sometimes these subconscious questions come up. कि क्यों होता है ऐसा? अल्लाह ताला ऐसा क्यों करने देता है? And then behind that is another fear जो हम acknowledge नहीं कर रहे होते कि ये तो injustice है. This was so unfair. इन लोगों ने क्या किया था जो इनके साथ ये हो गया? If God can be unjust to them, then God can be unjust to me. That's one of the real reasons why it causes so much anxiety in people. You know what happened with COVID, for example? That death became very real for people. And this medical science जिसको हम एक खुदा बना के बैठे हुए थे, that suddenly वो बुत टूट गया. They didn't have the answer. So that's another thing that I teach is that there are we look at events from a very human perspective, और हमारा perspective हमेशा limited है. No matter how, I mean, even if you're Einstein, no matter who you are, your perspective is still going to be very limited compared to Allah Ta'ala's hikmat and wisdom, who has been running this entire, not one universe but multiple universes for eons and will continue to run them, and there's a system under which everything is run, and that system is in perfect balance. So और उस system में, I'm just going to finish my point, sorry, उस system में होते हैं ऐसे events that can from our human perspective seem very tragic and painful and almost unnecessary, but who are we to question the wisdom of God? They are not unnecessary. They happen for a reason. Right? So when you feel the pain for those people, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to have a sensitive heart. But at that time, if we go into the trauma of why did this happen, it's so unfair and is God just or not, that is not a good use of those beautiful feelings of compassion that you're feeling. Better use is that if you can do something for those people, then do it. But if you cannot do anything for those people, perhaps you can do something for someone in your life right now.
Yeah.
And direct that passion or compassion
into
towards a
zone.
healthy, healthy.
And as I was studying, with relevance to this, as I was studying and researching, you also know that after meeting you, I grew a very close relationship with my religion. Alhamdulillah, I was not a very practicing Muslim, but now I feel like, yes, maybe I am becoming one. And I feel like बहुत सारी चीज़ें थी जो मुझे नहीं पता चली, but I read up on a lot of messengers, and I understood that all of them had a very, very tough life.
Yes, they did.
So अगर Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hazrat Ali raziyallahu anhu, everybody had very tough lives. So अगर उन सब की जिंदगियाँ इतनी मुश्किल थी, then who are we?
Exactly,
right?
And that was one
then
of
this
the
world
reasons.
is a test, and you must understand that there is completely life after this, which means heaven or hell.
Exactly, and that if you understand Islam, then you don't even have to wait till you die.
Yeah.
Your life will get better right away.
Yeah.
This is one of the primary reasons why I was so excited to have you as my first guest, Zara, because मुझे इस चीज़ से बहुत तकलीफ होती है देख के कि लोगों ने ना एक जिसको तकवा कॉस्ट्यूम कहते हैं वो बनाया हुआ है कि you need to learn, you need to look a certain
way to talk about
Islam or to
जैसे इस्लाम किसी एक का है और उन्होंने एक बाउंड्री सेट की हुई है.
If you dare to have the courage to say you love Islam, then you must look a certain way. And the problem with that is
you must be from a certain profession. You should not know music or anything related to art, which I also got to know in very recent days when I was practicing ittikaf, that music is not haram.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind because I read a lot of things, and I read the Quran, and I read a lot of surahs with their translations, and I heard Gandhi Sahab, and I heard
I know you've been writing all these notes and stuff.
Sahil Nadeem Sahab, and I heard that Sahil Adeem. Yeah, sorry, I'm so sorry with this name. I'm a huge fan of you. And I realized so many things जो हमें लगता था कि हराम है, वो हराम नहीं है. लोगों ने अपने पर्सपेक्टिव और अपनी कन्वीनियंस के लिए जिन चीज़ों को हराम कहा है, अल्लाह ने उस चीज़ को भी हराम कहा है.
Right. Yes.
क्या आप मेरे नाम पे किसी चीज को हराम कह रहे हैं, वो हराम है.
And judgment is not allowed.
And judgment is not allowed. How आप कैसे फिगर आउट कर सकते हैं कि कोई म्यूजिशियन है या एक्टर है या कोई कुछ भी है या कोई लॉयर है तो वो सही है या गलत है, उसके दिल में ईमान कितना है?
You don't know. अल्लाह ताला ने कुरान में कहा हुआ है कि तुम में से बेहतर शख्स वो है जिसके दिल में तकवा ज्यादा है. और तकवा मेजर करने का हक अल्लाह ताला ने रसूल पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को भी नहीं दिया था, अपने प्यारे नबी को भी नहीं दिया था. ये हक सिर्फ अल्लाह के पास है, क्योंकि दिलों का हाल सिर्फ वो जानता है.
बट अभी बहुत सारे लोग हैं वो कहते हैं म्यूजिक हराम है तो हम इसमें
तो उन्हें कहने दें, उनके लिए अगर हराम है तो चलें, आपके लिए हराम है, ठीक है, आप ना सुने.
बट दैट्स अ वेरी बैड आई थिंक एग्जाम्पल बीइंग बेस्ड इन द सोसाइटी. It's very sad to see so many people, पढ़े लिखे लोग जो हैं वो और मैं पढ़े लिखे लोगों के बारे में बात कर रही हूँ जो हमारी एज ग्रुप में हैं, जो ये बात कर रहे हैं कि
मैं आपकी एज ग्रुप से आगे हूँ.
आप नहीं, आप भी हमारी एज ग्रुप में ही हैं, क्योंकि मेंटली अगर हम एक हैं तो what, age is just a number. तो आई फील लाइक कि बहुत सारे पढ़े लिखे लोग इस बात को सेलिब्रेट करते हैं कि किसी ने अगर कोई प्रोफेशन छोड़ के बिल्कुल दीन की राह में लग गया तो ये बहुत अच्छी बात है कि उसने म्यूजिक छोड़ दिया या उसने एक्टिंग छोड़ दी. ये तो बड़ा पर्सनल लेवल पे होना चाहिए.
इट इज पर्सनल, एंड इफ दे मेड दैट चॉइस, गुड फॉर देम. व्हाटएवर हर एक के पास फ्री विल है, हर एक का अपना एक वैल्यू सिस्टम है या समझने का लेवल है.
बट डोंट यू थिंक इट्स अ वेरी टू से ऑल ऑफ दिस इन द नेम ऑफ इस्लाम is a very bad precedent.
But it could be that is their understanding of Islam.
Yeah.
So if they can't judge us, we can't judge them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So maybe that is their understanding. What my pet peeve is that people don't bother to understand Islam and Quran themselves. Ab jaise for example in your case, so you came into my course and you started to develop an interest in Islam. कि ये बंदी क्या बातें करती है, ये तो अल्लाह ताला से कहती है कि बेस्ट फ्रेंड बनाओ उसको, उससे क्लोज हो, उससे मोहब्बत करो, अपनी ज़ात को पहचानो. तो that developed an interest in for you, okay? And what did I say? I said do your own research. I didn't say Zara मैं इन लोगों को पे believe करती हूँ, तुम भी इन लोगों को सुनो या ये वाली तफसीरें पढ़ो या ये. I said no, do your own research. जहाँ पे अटको अल्लाह ताला से guidance मांगो. Because this is the biggest problem that we have right now, that we have outsourced the understanding of Quran and Islam to certain people, scholars, and then whatever they say, that's it for us. But people don't understand.
इस्लाम का तो रमा जी एक वो बना के रखा हुआ ना कि एक कोई है जिसने डंडा पकड़ा हुआ है और वो बस बुक में से वर्ड सुनाएगा और वो डंडा मारेगा और आपको हाथ पे सोटी पड़ेगी और आप आग में जलेंगे और जन्नत में
तो
नहीं
फिर
जाएंगे.
ऐसे रब के साथ आप प्यार कैसे
कर सकते हैं?
You cannot.
जब आप हर वक्त डरते रहेंगे तो आप प्यार कैसे करेंगे?
जब आपको लगेगा कि एक बुढ़ा बाबा ऊपर आसमान पे बैठा हुआ है
और वो हर बात पे डांट पड़ेगी,
हर वक्त ताक में कि मैं गलती करूं और वो मुझे पकड़े.
However, I feel like he is the most Rahim.
Yes,
he's the most gracious.
Yes.
आप माफी मांगने तक जाए नमाज पे पहुंचते हैं. I think अल्लाह मियां ने आपको माफ कर दिया होता है कि आप
अल्लाह ताला ने कहा हुआ है कि उसको सबसे ज्यादा अपने बंदे पे कब प्यार आता है? जिस वक्त वो गलती करके माफी मांग रहा होता है, उस वक्त अल्लाह ताला को सबसे ज्यादा प्यार आता है. Which means he expects us to make mistakes. He didn't make us perfect.
He didn't make us perfect. वरना हम फरिश्तों की जगह पे होते ना.
वरना हम शायद अंबिया की जगह पे होते. फरिश्ते तो चले गलती कर ही नहीं सकते, बट अंबिया को भी उसने एक तरह से अगर देखें तो परफेक्ट नहीं बनाया था. दे डिड मेक सम मिस्टेक्स. तो हम तो हैं ही बनाए हुए उसी मिट्टी के जो बार बार गलती करेगा. द की इज recognize your mistake, sincerely do tawbah and try to be better the next day. Allah Ta'ala does not expect perfection. Allah Ta'ala expects progress. And the most important thing that I want to go back to is कि रिचुअल्स का नाम इस्लाम नहीं है. हमने जो बना लिया है अपना दीन, उसमें जो चीज़ मिसिंग है, दैट इज़ द रूह, दैट इज़ द स्पिरिट of this beautiful religion, connection to God.
And when you are talking about connection to God, does that also mean being loving towards His creation?
Of course.
Right? So do you weigh namaz and pilgrimage and all of that more compared to Haqooqul Ibad?
For me, it's not a matter of more, honestly. वो फ़र्ज़ हैं, जो फ़र्ज़ है वो करना है.
बट अगर एक इंसान फ़र्ज़ पूरे कर रहा है
और वो हकूक़ुल इबाद नहीं कर रहा, तो इसके बारे में नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने भी फरमा दिया है और अल्लाह ताला ने भी फरमा दिया है कि उसका फिर क्या दर्जा है और उसका क्या है.
यही बात है जो
खोखली इबादत है.
This is what I'm trying
because
to
Zara, you cannot have God in your heart and not love makhluk.
And then be mean to people. And then
it's not possible.
Yeah, you can give charity, but at the same time you're being mean to your friends or your co-workers or your.
But charity आप क्यों दे रहे हैं? Charity आप दुनिया दिखावे के लिए दे रहे हैं. चैरिटी आप उसको रिश्वत के तौर पे दे रहे हैं कि मैंने जन्नत में जाना है तो ये मैं सदका दे रहा हूं. नियत तो अल्लाह ताला जानता है. अगर आपने सिंसियरली किसी को तकलीफ में देखा और उसकी तकलीफ में आपका दिल तड़प उठा और all you gave them was a smile or perhaps a kind word or maybe a couple of minutes of your time, that is the most beautiful charity. अभी मैं
couple of minutes of your genuine time. Right?
Yeah,
of your genuine emotions.
Of your time that you wanted to, be there for them. क्योंकि इंसान कई दफा जब तकलीफ में होता है, they're very lonely.
Yeah.
So just giving them a little bit of time. That's the most beautiful charity you can do.
And then abandon people at the same time. That's also very wrong. Right?
What do you mean by that?
जैसे कहते हैं ना कि हंसते हुए लोगों के साथ पूरी दुनिया हंसती है, लेकिन जब कोई अलहदा या अकेला होता है, दुख में होता है, तो उसके साथ कोई नहीं होता. तो when you also abandon people who are alone, that is also, I think, wrong.
It is wrong.
And not right.
And I would say, absolutely, it is wrong. और जिसको दुनिया छोड़ देती है, जिसके साथ फिर कोई नहीं होता, उसमें blessing ये होती है कि फिर उसके साथ अल्लाह बहुत ज़ोर से होता है. If people take the time, जब वो उस time से गुजरें, when they feel very alone, that's when they can hear God in the silence. Because हम अपनी ज़िंदगी में इतना distracted रखते हैं अपने आप को through friends, through activities, through all kinds of things. अल्लाह की सरगोशियाँ हमें सुनाई नहीं देती लेकिन जब इंसान, वही मैं कह रही थी ना, when you're down on your knees and everybody has left you and there's deafening silence around you, that's when you hear God. That's when you hear His whispers that I'm with you. I'm with you. You're not alone. It's okay. This too shall pass. This is for your benefit. There is something coming out of you right now that is much more beautiful than what you had before, right? So तुम्हारे साथ भी अब वही हो रहा है जो मेरे साथ होता है कि जब उसके प्यार की बातें करो तो you start crying.
और ये कभी भी नहीं होता था. And I think right after I met you, I've just there's just this insane energy in me when I talk about Allah and when I talk about His messengers, and I feel like I constantly want to talk about Him because I've been through hell and back. Thak वापस कभी again on my flat on my face I fall, फिर I get up, फिर I fall flat on my face, and every time I'm like Allah मियाँ not anymore, please अब नहीं, and every time I get up वो मुझे कुछ ऐसा नया दे देता है कि मैं कहती हूँ कि ये तो मैंने imagine भी नहीं किया था, ये आपने मुझे क्या दे दिया.
First of all, Zara, I want to acknowledge you and appreciate you for your honesty and courage. It takes a lot to admit publicly that you've been through hell and back, although everybody listening can relate to you because everybody has been through a lot of hell and a lot of trauma, but nobody has the courage to admit it, especially a superstar like you. You're supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to have a perfect life. You've got everything. You should be happy all the time. You should, So it takes a lot of courage to admit that you are human. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for making me understand that I could wear this as my armor. And I could be my own, as my own
the best armor.
Knight in shining armor, and I don't have to have anybody around me to make me feel like that. That was a very big lesson. God is enough for you. Yeah, God is enough for me. That was a very big lesson that I
And I want to say something about what you were talking about, going through hell and back. कि जो अल्लाह इतना प्यार करता है फिर वो इतनी तकलीफ क्यों देता है, right? We've had this conversation. I've shared my story publicly too, that I have been through hell and back many times, and sometimes I was shattered in so many pieces that I didn't think that I would ever be able to put myself back together again. And every time, alhamdulillah, my best friend put me back together again. And why we go through so much pain, that's the question, is because Allah ने आपको एक purpose के लिए बनाया था. And Allah made you beautiful. उसने कहा है, आसन तकवीम जो उसने कहा है कि बेहतरीन उसके ऊपर आपका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना हुआ है, और ये सिर्फ किसी एक शख्स के लिए नहीं कहा, या सिर्फ मर्दों के लिए नहीं कहा, ये सब के लिए कहा है. So in order to, when we're living life, we take on these different personalities and illusions that we cover our hearts with, right? We go through an event. For example, I went through 2 divorces, so my identity could be, I'm a woman who has been divorced twice, rejected twice, whatever, right? Failed twice. If I took on that identity, that's not who I really am. That's just something that happened to me.
Yeah.
But we do that. In life, we take on so many different identities. Some of them are not trauma related. Some of them are related to our achievements.
Yeah.
But Allah wants to see us beyond that. क्योंकि उसको पता है ना, उसने बनाया है कि उसने क्या potential रखी हुई है इंसान के अंदर. Right. उस purpose तक पहुंचने के लिए आपको अपनी potential uncover करनी पड़ेगी. और जब आप नहीं करते, जब आप अपने आप को इधर उधर distract कर रहे होते हैं, तो फिर वो eventually आपको वो जिंदगी में events भेजता है, जिससे आपका वो दिल टूटता है. वो एक्चुअली दिल नहीं टूट रहा होता, वो दिल के ऊपर जो खोल चढ़े होते हैं वो टूटते हैं. And as Rumi said that the light enters the heart through the place of the wound. He's right. जहाँ पे वो टूटता है, जहाँ पे वो क्रैक आता है, वहाँ से अल्लाह ताला का नूर फिर शामिल होता है, क्योंकि अल्लाह ताला एक सख्त दिल में नहीं रहता. अल्लाह ताला एक टूटे हुए दिल में रहता है, क्योंकि वो नरम हो चुका होता है. So
उसमें कोई ईगो नहीं होती, उसमें कोई बनावट नहीं होती, उसमें फिर
जब आपका it's a journey.
और फिर जब आपका दिल टूटा होता है तो आई फील लाइक आप ये भी रियलाइज करते हैं कि आपको फिर लोगों को और प्यार देना है, क्योंकि शायद पता नहीं, आप हर किसी से कॉन्वर्सेशन करने से पहले सोचते हैं पता नहीं किस मुसीबत में होगा, पता नहीं इसके क्या दुख होंगे, आई शुड बी, हाँ मुझे नर्म होना चाहिए, मुझे इनको वापस टॉक बैक नहीं करना चाहिए. और कभी कभी आप ऐसी गलतियाँ कर लेते हैं अपनी ज़िंदगी में, उन सारे ट्रॉमास के वो लेयरिंग में, कि आपको समझ नहीं आता कि ये आपने किया क्या. एंड देन यू हैव टू डिग डीप डाउन, which coming back to the 30-day transformational course that I did with you made me realize, even though I'm sorry Natasha, I'm lagging at that because of my very very busy schedule, I'm so sorry, but जितना भी मैंने पढ़ा है और मैंने उसमें देखा है, everything has to do with your childhood. Most of it has to do with your childhood and your environment. And I did not understand that at the point जब मैं उस वक्त वो सब चीज़ें feel कर रही थी. And then later on जब आपने मुझे वो course कराया, उसमें जो exercises थी, some exercises were so tough to do. And I remember एक exercise मैंने आपके साथ ही बैठ के की थी, when I was howling and you were asking me to just say that I love myself, and I could not say it. I was howling because I was like, I can't say it. I can't say that I love myself. And you're like, say it. Say it that you love yourself. And I couldn't say it. We had to repeatedly do it again and again.
And we had to go back to, I'm willing to love myself.
Yes.
Okay, let's meet you at the point where you're willing to at least put your toes into the water. So this is one of the things that I believe in, Zara, why my course is different, is that I don't like telling people what to do in their lives. Yeah. I don't tell them. A lot of people come to my course, and they have a major decision to take, and I tell them, please don't take the decision until you have completed the course, because then inshallah you will have the clarity to know which direction you need to go. But before that, देखें, क्योंकि नॉर्मल ज़िंदगी में ना हमारे अंदर, वो जो मैं आपको बीच बॉल वाली मिसाल शुरू में भी दी थी, इतना नॉइज़ होता है दिमाग में. There are so many voices कि ये नहीं करना, oh my God, people, what will people say, and what this, and I'm not lovable, and I'm not this, and there's so much noise in our head. And then lack of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance तो छोड़ें, अभी तक self-awareness ही नहीं
आई. Self-acceptance तो बहुत दूर की
who
बात
am I
है.
really? We're so focused on other people's
opinions of us.
Yes, and the events that have happened, other people, this person did this to me, this person did that to me, and if I do this, then people are going to say this. अपने ऊपर focus नहीं होता, अपने बारे में awareness भी नहीं होती कि who am I?
Yeah.
And what do I really want?
And what do I believe in?
What do I believe in? A lot of people don't know what they believe in.
Yeah, a lot of people, like most of the time, I could not take my decisions for the longest time before this course because I did not understand the meaning of boundaries and space and clarity. Mm-hmm. And after entering your course, I understood that these are things that I need to compartmentalize my emotions into these boxes to understand where I stand. And I think for the longest time, the people around me could not understand कि space दी तो है और कितनी space चाहिए. मतलब you're away from home, you are at work, like what space do you need? And then I had to make them understand that space really means to, yes,
be with yourself.
Yes, not to be in isolation, but to be in solitude and to talk to yourself and to write it down. I remember you told me that Surah Rahman exercise, when you hear Surah Rahman and then you believe in good things and you make a gratitude journal and you write and you think of things that you're grateful for. ये चीज़ भी आपके कोर्स में थी जो मैंने कभी भी नहीं की थी, and by just started doing them so many times I felt like जैसे कोई मैजिक हो रहा है. बिकॉज मैं सूर्य रहमान सुनती थी और मैं कुछ चीज़ सोचती थी और अगले सेकंड वो चीज़ हो जाती थी. I was like, okay, so
that's not the purpose of it,
this
but
is a tool. Yeah, but मतलब ये एक tool है कि I can actually tap into the next dimension and I can actually talk to Allah Mia so directly.
That was probably Allah Mia because you're so cute. He was probably playing with you at that time.
Yeah, I think so.
चलो इसको थोड़े से खिलौने शुरू में दे देता हूँ खेलने के लिए. But that's, Surah Rahman is a very powerful healing tool, absolutely. Gratitude is one of the cornerstones of my course. Because
EFT also, right?
Yeah, I teach many techniques in this course. It's, as I say, it's a multi-pronged approach. Some of the things we don't even tell you why you're doing those things because we don't want the subconscious mind to sabotage you. But it's just working on you from this level, from here, from up, from down. इंसान को समझ ही नहीं आ रही होती शुरू में, and then suddenly they start seeing changes and they're like, what's happening, what's going on? And what's happening is that your neural pathways are changing
my
in
favorite
your brain.
word, neural pathway.
The brain is building new neural pathways, and that's really, you know, मैं कहती हूँ, सबको कहती हूँ कि ये कोर्स अल्लाह का एक गिफ्ट है. इसके लिए मैं क्रेडिट नहीं ले सकती, because truly this course was gifted to me when I saw that women were in so much pain in Pakistan, and of course men too, but since I'm a woman, I related more to women, and I wanted to do something to help them. So I created the first 30 days to transformation course for women, only women that were either divorced or widowed. You know, the worst, सबसे लोग जो हमारे माशरे में जिनको दर्जा दिया जाता है, divorced women or widows. So the toughest cookies.
Yeah.
And I would start the class.
However, like in Islam, वो औरतें सबसे ज़्यादा इज्जतदार औरतें.
हमारे यहाँ इस्लाम कौन प्रैक्टिस करता है ज़ारा? हमारे यहाँ जो चीज़ प्रैक्टिस हो रही है वो इस्लाम नहीं है.
So sad to know कि divorce को कितना बड़ा टैबू बना दिया है.
अगर इस्लाम प्रैक्टिस हो रहा होता तो रसूल पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने तो कहा है कि तुम्हारी तलाक याफ्ता बेटी अगर घर आए और तुम उसकी टेक केयर करो तो इससे आला दर्जे का सदका नहीं है. तो ये कौन करता है? वो तो क्या कहा जाता है
कि बोझ, कि
जब मैं बहुत सख्त ज़्यादा ट्रिगर हुई थी, पब्लिकली ट्रिगर हो गई थी when I heard this statement in a public gathering के वो माँ ही अच्छी थी.
I remember that day.
कहती थी कि अब तुम्हारा जनाजा ही घर से निकले और फिर
Imagine.
you know, it was
कि आप सोसाइटी में कह रहे हैं कि आपका जनाजा घर से निकल जाए, बट आपने डिवोर्स नहीं लेनी. जबकि अगर आप सहाबियों की ज़िंदगी, which is the next thing I have advised you to do, कि please read the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and read the seerah of the Sahaba Karam and the lives of the Sahabiyat. आप सहाबियात की ज़िंदगी के बारे में पढ़ेंगी तो आप कहेंगी ये आजकल के स्टैंडर्ड्स के मुताबिक तो इनको हम इनके ऊपर हर तरह के लेबल्स लगा देंगे. वो शेरनियाँ थी वो. You know, you and I were talking about it कि इस्लाम is a religion for people with dignity. Yeah, men for women with self-respect. If you are a woman with no self-respect, I'm sorry, this is not your religion. Because it teaches you how to respect yourself and love yourself, especially women.
And fight for your dignity.
And fight for your dignity. And so many things Islam ने बनाई ही औरतों की protection के लिए.
Yes.
जब आप कहते हैं कि
जिनको twist करके औरतों को control करने के लिए abuse किया जाता है. And that's why I want people like yourself to speak more openly about how much you love Islam, because now you're studying the real Islam. And I keep saying that कि जो real Islam था वो तकरीबन 1000 साल पहले hijack हो गया. If you want to find out what real Islam was, you must study the रियासत मदीना में क्या होता था, जो असल रियासत मदीना थी. नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की जब एक्चुअली बाद में गवर्नमेंट कायम हुई थी, जो कि फिर हज़रत अबू बकर के ज़माने में, हज़रत उमर, खुलफाए राशिदीन के ज़माने में थी. How did women live during that time? They had so many freedoms जो हम सोच भी नहीं सकते. They had dignity, they had strength of character. They were not wallflowers like आजकल की औरत को. उस औरत को पसंद किया जाता है या ग्लोरीफाई किया जाता है जो सब्र की पुतली है, जो हर चीज़ बस बर्दाश्त कर रही है.
सेल्फ सैक्रिफाइसिंग औरत बहुत अच्छी होती है.
कि मरहुमा इतनी नेक औरत थी, मरहुमा इतनी साबर थी, इतना इसका सख्त मियाँ था, सारी उम्र इसने मारे खाई फिर भी उसने शादी और एक चुप सौ सुख और उफनी की और ये वो. और सहाबियात तो they were like that. They read the lives of the sahabiyat. I am not saying, because if you watched my channel often enough, I'm a big supporter of marriage. I also talk about how to work on marital issues, how to save marriages. I have deep respect for the institution of marriage. However, what we have in Pakistan has become a caricature. We don't know how to have healthy relationships. We live in marriages that are basically codependent and toxic relationships that are suffocating us inside, that are draining the life energy out of us. And I don't understand
why people stay in marriages when they're unhappy. Because of children, because of the society. No, if the religion has given you a way to get out of an unhealthy or unhappy marriage, then you must.
So I feel, Zara, that there is a lot of value that gets placed on happiness, that we feel ke I should be happy all the time.
Yeah.
In real life, because ड्रामा में जो दिखाया जाता है वो रियल लाइफ नहीं है. It's not. Real life is different. Marriage
is work.
Okay, let's say marriage is work.
And a lot of
like
commitment.
Any good thing. It's work. And love की जहाँ पे बात होती है, मैं सबको कहती हूँ ये बड़ा खतरनाक लफ्ज है यार, इसके पीछे मत पड़ो. Love is an incredibly powerful force of transformation.
Yeah.
Love will require sacrifice. Love will
require, yes, and love will require you to do a lot of keep a lot of your ego aside. I feel like there are 5 stages of love, and like in the first stage you realize, oh, we like each other, and then हमारा प्यार हो गया है, मोहब्बत हो गई है, और सारा romance हो रहा है, movies पे जा रहे हैं. The second stage is when you start to get serious about it. By this time I think maybe you've gotten married or engaged or living together, you're living together, and you realize कि okay, now we have to do the house chores together. अब सफाई किसने करनी है? The third stage is the place where you understand that shit, there is no romance. Oh my God, there are bills to deal with. This is a lot of work. We don't understand each other. हमारे interests एक जैसे नहीं रहे. And then the fourth stage is when you realize, okay, हम दोनों को एक दूसरे के बारे में सब पता चल गया है. Now we got to work as a team.
तो मैं सुनाऊं कि love की story ये marriages में क्या होता है?
Yeah.
So you're right, जो different stages से गुजरता है इंसान. पहले जो है ना, पहली stage जो है when you meet each other and those butterflies are happening.
Yeah.
That's when nature is duping you. This is like a scam by nature. क्योंकि hey, nature is interested in propagation of human population.
Yeah.
Right. So
propagation of human
body
population
is.
दूसरे लफ्जों में बच्चे पैदा करने.
Yeah, that's what
nature
nature is about procreation, okay. Right? So अगर पहले दिन से आपको ये पता चल जाए और दूसरे शख्स के flaws नजर आने लग जाए तो आप तो opposite direction में भागेंगे. So what does nature do? आपके साथ ये होता है कि जिस वक्त you meet someone, you start to fall in love, your brain goes on drugs. The most potent drugs. They have not
Dopamine.
been produced. They cannot be manufactured in a laboratory. जो आपकी body में वो उस वक्त flood होना शुरू हो जाती है. Yes, dopamine. Yes,
the violence.
Yes, and you basically, because your brain is on these powerful drugs.
Yeah.
Your sight changes. आपको कुछ नजर नहीं आता. महबूब के अलावा कुछ नजर नहीं आता और महबूब में flaws
तो नजर ही नहीं आते.
है ही नहीं उसमें. वो तो perfect है.
और उसके बाद फिर third stage में
wait
वो flaw भी नजर आता है.
We are still in the first stage. So this effect on the brain stays anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. Okay, just depending.
Wow.
Yeah. So you are in a drugged out stage for 6 months to 2 years. This is why जब आप महबूब से दूर होते हैं तो उसकी बातें करने का दिल चाहता है. उसकी और कुछ नहीं तो उसके बारे में सोचने को दिल चाहता है, because your brain needs that hit. Just like you need the hit of your drug. You're an addict at that time.
Yeah.
And then now that the nature has duped you, because by this time ideally you're married and you're having children or you're thinking about having children, you're a family now. यहाँ पे फिर अब वो ड्रग के इफेक्ट्स जो हैं वो ख़त्म होना शुरू हो जाते हैं. ठीक है, could be 6 months, anywhere between 6 months to 2 years. Now you begin to see the flaws in your beloved. Now here is the thing though, you've learned this in the course. Yeah. I keep telling everybody again and again, you must make this your mantra during the 30 days courses, that I meet no one but myself. So everyone is a mirror to us.
Yeah.
And there is no relationship more intimate than a husband and wives in so many ways.
Yeah.
So they are your worst and your best mirror. And some of our unhealed parts that we have been running away from for such a long time that we don't want to face. वो जो मैं कह रही थी, beach balls हम दबाते रहते हैं. We see those in them. We cannot hide from them. Our partner sees everything. So it becomes a very painful process, because if they are the mirror and they're showing us a part that we really don't want to see, an unhealed part, traumatic childhood experience, whatever it is, maybe we went through betrayal, or maybe we went through abandonment as a child, and now being in love, seeing that person, maybe they have a tendency to be a little bit aloof. I don't know. Something triggers our brain that, oh my God, there is a chance for me to be hurt. There's a chance for me to be abandoned. Now, that is in us. That abandonment is in me. But I'm seeing that through the other person, and what am I going to do? Instead of acknowledging my own unhealed trauma, I'm going to project that onto him.
But
I'm going to say, you are so aloof, you don't care about my feelings, you don't do this, you don't do that.
But won't that take away the responsibility from the other person, the spouse?
They're doing the same thing, honey. They're also looking at you as a mirror, and they're also doing the exact same thing.
Because what if they're domestically violent and they're like
that's a different story. So when it comes to violence, when it comes to abuse, I have never ever supported that.
Okay.
I am not in favor of ever staying in a marriage which is abusive mentally, emotionally, physically, whichever way, because the damage is very deep, and it if you have children and you are in an abusive marriage, I have said this in many videos, that staying in such a marriage is actually child abuse, because people say, oh, we are together because of children. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you actually look at the situation very truthfully, you are in it because you're afraid. Women are usually afraid of financial security. What will happen if I leave? Men are usually afraid of the image that they have. You know, I'm the breadwinner, so I'm the caretaker of this family. And then what will other people say if we get divorced? So that's why you're in that marriage, not because you're trying to protect your children. Because children, all the studies have shown.
And also because it's so comfortable. Who wants to get out of a comfortable house? And सब चीजें एक दूसरे को ने फराहम की होते हैं, कमरा होता है, सेट हुआ होता है, सब कुछ. Everybody's like, why to get out of it?
And this is where I wanted to talk to you about the will to become better, the will to mentally improve versus victimhood. Because a lot of people will constantly complain about their bad marriage or whatever life situation that they're in. They will constantly complain about it, but they don't want to change
they never do anything.
Because no matter what, it's familiar.
And it's comfortable.
It's comfortable. No matter how uncomfortable it is still comfortable. Right? So people don't want to go through the discomfort of making change in their life. I tell people, abhi mera ek post laga tha aur us pe log keh rahe hain, what are you talking about? Safety net is amazing, and why should people leave their safety net? Let's say this is this circle, okay? This circle is your life. Everything within this circle is your life. This is what you're familiar with. This is your safety net. This is whatever you have in life right now, and whatever, complaints and issues and blessings, whatever. It's in this circle. But what you are desiring, your purpose, what you are wishing for, it exists outside of this circle. Net, it's outside. So most people will go towards the edge, and then they will come back. Because this right here, this edge, this is the scariest part of our lives. This is the scariest. It terrifies people. Edge se jaake वापस आ जाते हैं. जो लोग अपनी जिंदगी चेंज करते हैं, जो अपनी जिंदगी ट्रांसफॉर्म करते हैं, they break through.
That also means upsetting a lot of your family members, your friends, because a lot of people will not, agree with the kind of boundaries that you want to make now, the changes that you want to make now. So that means a lot of people will go out and move out of your life, and you have to accept it, that it is okay.
That's one of the things for sure. And I think that if you're going to be going through a transformational course like this one, for example, where, major transformation is going to happen, it's a good idea to let people know that this is what I'm doing. And I'm doing this to improve myself. Because, when you start changing, your loved ones also become uncomfortable. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who is this person? Ye kya ho raha hai? What's going on? This person is changing, and then if they're changing, what does that mean for me? Right? How does that affect me? So I think learning to be compassionate about them also, that, they're loved ones.
Yeah.
And they're just caring about me, and they're just responding to whatever I am putting out there.
So you got to be kind to them, but
you have to be kind, but I think it's at the same time you're going through so much upheaval yourself, so it can become difficult. That's why I always tell people, let people know that you're going to need space.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be going through a lot. Some days you're going to be crying like a baby.
Hello.
And then
and then the next moment you're going to be like,
next
let's
day
go
you
watch
might,
a movie.
Once that energy has lifted, suddenly you're going to be so happy. You're going to say, अब तो मैं जिंदगी में कभी भी दुखी नहीं होंगी, because I'm so happy. How can I ever come down from this high? And then few days later you're going to be going through something else, because this course is like getting on a rocket ship. I could have designed this course over 6 months, but I like quick results. I'm like this kind of a person. जो करना है जल्दी जल्दी करो.
Yeah.
So खुद भी मैं I would rather go through a lot of stuff quickly to get to the other side, and that's what this course does. It pushes you. It just constantly pushes you. तो जब तुम मुझे कहती थी, oh my God, Eram Baji, I am so happy. And I would be like, enjoy it.
It's so funny. Some of the days,
a couple of days.
Yeah, some of these days when I used to do these exercise, I used to get this revelation of why I did something, and it was not God sent. It was because I did it. Like
there's a lot of responsibility
on my
yes.
head, and मुझे पता चला कि ये तो मैंने खुद किया है, ये अल्लाह मियां ने मेरे साथ नहीं किया.
आपको responsibility लेनी
पड़ती है. और आपको समझ आनी चाहिए कि आपने अब बहुत सारी अपने पाँव पे कुल्हाड़ियाँ आप खुद मारते हैं. एंड जब मैंने 2+2 किया तो मुझे समझ आया कि this is my subconscious fooling me, and my brain is fooling me to do things, and then उसके बाद अपने आप को victimize करना कि मैं बेचारी और मेरे साथ क्या हो गया. To really understand it, I had to dig deeper and go back into my past and understand that why I did something that I did, and I understood that so many unhealed things were lying down there, and
they run your life. Your subconscious mind controls 95 to 97% of your adult life behavior. 95 to 97. So if you don't learn how to make friends with your subconscious mind and reprogram it, तो आप जितनी भी अपनी will power के through change होना चाहेंगे, that's only maximum 5%. 95% is still that powerful subconscious mind. So you have to learn. The course teaches you how to first learn about your subconscious mind, and then how to make friends with it, and then reprogram it in a way that it doesn't even know that you're reprogramming it to work in your favor instead of working against you all the time.
I also want to add this thing here, that a lot of people who are going through depression and anxiety, like myself, I had a very bad phase of anxiety and depression, and I must thank my therapist here, who has been amazing. And why I think that you both are God sent to me is because you and her have the same ideology in healing people through Islam. She told me a lot of things about Islam also, which made me believe that my religion is something, and God is the only one who can heal me and the only one I can turn to. And I feel like with your course, therapy is also very important, right?
It's for some people, yes. A lot of psychologists and psychiatrists have also taken my course.
Your course.
So for some people, I am a big advocate of therapy.
Yeah.
If you want to continue to get therapy, that's great. And you are lucky that you have found a therapist who also believes in Islam and brings Islam into therapy. A lot of therapists don't, because a lot, they're scientific minded, so they keep religion and therapy completely separate.
And it's funny, जब मैं आपका कोर्स कर रही होती थी तो बीच-बीच में मुझे एकदम से वो, I can't disclose her name, she's very particular about it.
That's okay.
मुझे बीच-बीच में वो याद आती थी कि this is exactly what she used to say, कि Zara, इस तरह चीज़ों को करो. And then your course literally gave me an outline of how I need to do this step by step.
Yeah.
And that's how I realized that how important this course has become for me in my life, because everything that we used to talk about, I had to put it on paper, and I was just so sulked in my own emotions to really, write it down and to understand. And then I found your course, which exactly and more or less had the same guidelines and outline of what. So I also think that your course is very relevant to people, yes, who want to change themselves, but also with people who are dealing with mental health problems like depression and anxiety.
Talk about that, because again, I want to acknowledge you for your courage. I want to acknowledge you for your courage to talk about this openly, because it's such an important topic. Abhi bhi hamare mulk mein, there's a stigma attached to therapy. Halanki mental health is such an important aspect of a person being balanced, and actually a very important aspect of Islam also.
Yes.
Islam is a religion of people who are mentally healthy and balanced. So tell me why that is important for you, why you want to talk about, mental health.
It's because I feel like the transformational course will only come to you when you will understand that now I need to fix what has happened to me. And because...
and only you can fix it.
And only you can fix it. I remember the first time we spoke also, and in your course also, वहाँ पे आपने ये बोला था that the answers you will find are going to be within you. And I didn't know that because there was so much triggers inside me that I didn't understand कि इनको मैंने डील कैसे करना है, इनको मैंने बोलना कैसे. तो मेंटल हेल्थ जब आपकी ठीक नहीं होगी तो आई डोंट थिंक आप इस ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल कोर्स तक पहुंच पाएंगे. सो थोड़ी सी क्लैरिटी आपको पता करनी है कि अपने बारे में, क्योंकि अगर आपको पता ही नहीं है कि सोल्यूशन इस कोर्स में है तो आप कोर्स तक पहुंचेंगे कैसे. सो उसके लिए आपको थोड़ी अवेयरनेस अपने बारे में चाहिए. अगर आपके मूड स्विंग्स हैं या आपके कोई मूड स्विंग्स भी नहीं मैं कह सकती, अगर आपके कुछ
आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि मेरे इश्यूज हैं
नहीं हो रहे, और वो तब
आई एम अनेबल टू सॉल्व दैट.
एंड दिस इज नॉट ओनली अ मूड स्विंगर इशू, दिस इज लाइक अ ब्रेन मसल प्रॉब्लम. आपके दिमाग में बहुत सारी चीजें लाइक यू सेड न्यूरो पाथवेज हैं जो नहीं क्लियर हो सके. एंड देन विद योर कोर्स आई थिंक इट वर्क्स हैंड इन हैंड. सो दैट्स व्हाई I loved doing what I did with your courses, because it did not interfere with my therapist and my scientific
and your work. You
and
stayed
my
busy
work
with
and
your
my
work.
scientific journey of depression and anxiety, because वो भी एक journey है जो मैं साथ साथ कर रही हूँ, and it becomes so much. I remember there were days when I couldn't do your homework because it was just so much. I was dealing with so much in my life already, and then the homework needs to be done, and then I need to study, and the course outlines that I need to hear, and then उसमें फिर Natasha gets to know that I have not completed the course.
Because जिस वक्त, because we know through experience, I know 2 decades of experience in this work, that when you feel कि बस मैं नहीं कर सकती है, that's actually when you need to do it the most.
And
that's the moment of breakthrough. You're actually very near the breakthrough, and the ego is saying ना करो
सही हो गया
तुम change हो जाओगी, and I don't want you to change. That's when you need to do it the most. कि थोड़ा सा ही कर लो, but करो जरूर. इसलिए then I
and very recently जब आपने मुझे एक चीज समझाई that there is no such thing as ego. It is insane to know this कि there is no such thing as ego. It is all man-made. In reality, in your straight and human mind and body, there is no such thing as ego. आपको कोई चीज़ बुरी लग ही नहीं सकती अगर आप ना चाहें तो.
The ego is there, but you can minimize it to such an extent, and इसका prime example frankly is only रसूल पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम या सहाबा कराम थे. हज़रत अली को अगर हम देख लें रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हो को, so the ego can be minimized to an extent कि it becomes under your control. So what I teach is कि या रूह है या ये ईगो है, नफ्स, इनमें से एक आपकी गाड़ी चला रहा है, one of them. If you feed the रूह, then the रूह is going to be strong, और आपकी ज़िंदगी की गाड़ी रूह चला रही होगी. लेकिन अगर ईगो स्ट्रांग है तो आपकी ज़िंदगी की गाड़ी ईगो चला रहा है. Now ego is a very destructive child. It is not wise.
It is not wise.
रूह is wise. रूह will take you to फलाह. आपकी इस जिंदगी की बात कर रही हूँ, आखिरत की तो बाद में छोड़ें. इस जिंदगी में आपको पीस, कंटेंटमेंट अगर चाहिए, then the रूह has to be strong.
And रूह की ग़ज़ा is
अल्लाह से कनेक्शन. रूह और किसी तरह से स्ट्रॉन्ग हो नहीं सकती. ईगो की ग़ज़ा क्या है? वैनिटी,
फेम,
वैलिडेशन, मनी, jealousy, all of those things जिसमें हम कभी इधर रिएक्ट कर रहे होते हैं, कभी इधर. हमें बेसिकली डुगडुगी कहते थे ना, बंदर का तमाशा जब होता था डुगडुगी, तो ईगो डुगडुगी बजा रहा होता है और हम बंदर का तमाशा करके दिखा रहे होते हैं. That's what the ego does. And then we have a life full of misery, problems, and then you hit 40s, you go through midlife crisis, and you wonder, why am I here? What is the purpose of everything? Why did God create us? और फिर उसके बाद वो एक और डिप्रेशन शुरू हो जाता है.
और आई थिंक ये भी किसी के ही अल्लाह मियाँ किसी को ही देता है कि कोई इंसान सवाल करे कि why am I here. हर किसी को
करते हैं ज़ारा, आई थिंक करते हैं. एक सर्टन स्टेज के ऊपर आके सब लोग ये सवाल कर रहे होते हैं. आजकल के बच्चे यंग एज पे करना शुरू हो गए हैं, which is a wonderful thing. करते हैं, लेकिन जवाब ढूंढने का तरीका बहुत डिफरेंट है. ज़्यादातर लोग डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर लेते हैं अपने आप को. हमारे माशरे में आजकल क्या हो रहा है? ड्रग्स, alcohol, affairs. They are nothing but modes of distraction. All of these people, because I went, deep into that group as a study, I wanted to research them, so I did that. I did not meet anyone who was not deeply miserable in their lives. वैसे party में, they're the life of the party. Inside, very miserable and broken on 10 different antidepressants, anxiety medicines, etc, etc. These are ways to distract. पर वो पेन अंदर है ना आपके, वो जाती नहीं है. वीकेंड पे पार्टी कर ली, अब मंडे को क्या करेंगे? वो सारी कहानियां फिर उसी तरह खड़ी हो जाती हैं. सो यू स्टार्ट पॉपिंग पिल्स. वेल, पिल्स आर नॉट गोना सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम एज वेल. हम इस दुनिया में, जो मैंने 30 डेज कोर्स में बार बार कहती हूँ, हम इस दुनिया में एक पर्पस के लिए आए हैं. पर्पस कुरान में अल्लाह ताला ने बता दिया है. पर्पस इज, उसने कहा है कि मेरी इबादत करो. उसकी इबादत बेसिकली बगैर उसको जाने आप कर ही नहीं सकते. जो आप इस तरह सजदे कर रहे हैं, रिचुअलिस्टिक इबादत कर रहे हैं, वो तो बेरूह इबादत है. इबादत उसकी करनी है तो पहले उसको जानो. उसको जानोगे तो यू विल फॉल इन लव विद गॉड.
एंड इट्स फनी, अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन यूज्ड टू से अल्लाह मियां इज फॉरगिविंग, फुल स्टॉप. भूल जाओ कि अल्लाह मियां ने सजा देनी है, भूल जाओ. अल्लाह मियां बस कह रहा है कि माफ़ी मांगो. व्हेन यू, एंड द ओनली रीज़न आई थिंक मुझे अल्लाह मियां से इतनी ज़्यादा मोहब्बत हुई है इज़ बिकॉज मुझे ऐसे फील होता है रंबाजी कि ही इज़ गोइंग टू फॉरगिव मी एवरी टाइम आई एम गोइंग टू मेक अ स्टूपिड मिस्टेक, unintentionally of course
or intentionally. इंटेंशनल मिस्टेक पे भी आप तौबा कर सकते हैं. या
बट अगर आपको पता है कि आपने गलती कर
तो माफी तो मांगनी है ना यार.
हाँ,
तो माफी तो मांगनी है. तो वो उसने कहा मैं माफ करूंगा. उसने कहा तुम्हारे गुनाह समंदर के झाग के बराबर भी होंगे तो मैं माफ करूंगा. आई मीन, अगर आप माफी मांगते हुए ये दिल में सोच रहे हैं कि मैं माफी तो मांग रही हूँ बट फिर से मैंने यही करना है, वो आपके दिल को जानता है. माफ तो वो कर देगा, मेरी ये बिलीफ है. वो तो देखिए, वो रहमान है. रब देखिए, इंसान इंसान 1000 दफा गलती करेगा ना, इंसान रहेगा. रब एक दफा भी अपने वादे से फिरेगा तो वो रब नहीं रहेगा. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट इट्स अ वेरी बिग थिंग. जब उसने कहा है मैं माफ करूंगा तो वो करेगा. नाउ व्हाट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, आप, आई थिंक you're a little bit behind in the course. Did you get to the module where I talk about the system, Allah's system? I define, उसमें मैं यही सिखाती हूँ कि अल्लाह का system is different from Allah's प्यार and Allah's माफ़ी. You have to understand that. It's just like saying, I'll give you a brief example. Let's say I'm your mother. हाँ, ठीक है, मैं कह रही हूँ, ज़ारा तुमने ये गरम चूल्हा है, इसको तुमने हाथ नहीं लगाना, तुम्हारा हाथ जल जाएगा. ठीक है. अब आप 4 साल की हो, यू आर क्यूरियस, सो व्हेन आई एम नॉट लुकिंग यू गो एंड यू टच द स्टोव. ठीक है, और हाथ जल गया, दर्द हो रही है. यू कम रनिंग टू मी एंड आई एम गोइंग टू से, मैंने कहा था ना कि ये ना करना, हाथ जलेगा. एंड देन आई विल हग यू एंड आई विल किस यू एंड आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ यू एंड मरहम भी रखूंगी. बट इफ योर माइंड थिंक्स, see, she told me not to touch the stove, now she gave me pain. You understand the difference?
No.
But that's what we do. That's exactly what we do with Allah Ta'ala.
Yeah.
कि अल्लाह ने हमें कहा ये करोगे तो तकलीफ होगी, मत करना. जब करते हैं तकलीफ होती है तो कहते हैं देखो
आपने मुझे तकलीफ में,
उसने तकलीफ में सजा दे रहा है.
Absolutely.
वो सिस्टम
अल्लाह ने तो जिन कामों से मना किया, वह जिन बातों से मना किया, अगर वो करेंगे उसमें तकलीफ मिलेगी. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, so don't blame Allah Ta'ala for giving you the pain. His love is still constant. His forgiveness, His mercy, His compassion is still constantly flowing to you, just like the mother is going to hug and kiss the child and take care of them. But the pain is going to happen because it's a consequence of touching the hot stove. Shouldn't have done it. Next time, if you're smart, you're never going to touch a hot stove in your life.
Do you also feel like that Allah Miyan sometimes takes away those things from you which you love a lot, is because He thinks that, or He says that आप मुझसे प्यार करने के लिए बने हैं, और अगर आप मेरे लेवल जैसा इश्क या मोहब्बत किसी और से करेंगे तो वो मैं आपसे छीन लूँगा.
Now it's a much deeper question, because on this journey, we sometimes lose things because वो हमें हमारी अपनी ज़ात के साथ कनेक्ट करना चाह रहा होता है, या कभी जैसे आपने कहा है अपने आप से कनेक्ट करना चाह रहा होता है. The journey basically is towards Allah Ta'ala. Ultimately, the journey is towards Allah Ta'ala's
all
love.
about him.
अब बीच में वो छोटे छोटे, it's like for example if I say, अगर मैं यहाँ से फ्लाइट लेके डैलस जा रही हूँ और बीच में 2-3 लेओवर्स हैं, so I stop in Doha and then maybe I stop in England, then maybe I stop in Chicago and then I get to Dallas, right? तो वो मेरे लेओवर्स तो हैं, but actually it's because I'm trying to get to Dallas.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same way. We came here really to, हमने एक वादा किया था ज़ारा, जब eons ago अल्लाह ताला created तमाम रूहों को, जब उसने बनाया था और उसने कहा था अलस्ता बिरब्बिकुम, रब होता है पालने वाला जो हर ज़रूरत का ख्याल रखता है, जिसकी वर्शिप की जाती है. उसने हमसे पूछा था और हमने सब ने उस वक़्त बहुत जोश में कहा था बला कि बेशक तू ही है. फिर उसने हमें इस दुनिया में भेजा और हमें सब कुछ भुला दिया कि तुम्हारी रूह की हकीकत क्या है. एंड we are supposed to make our way back to him,
and we're just
while we are alive,
and we're born to love him.
We are born in love, Jani. We are born in love. The moment you took your first breath, the moment I took my first breath, the moment you took your first breath, वो उस first breath से हमारे साथ इश्क फरमा रहे हैं, इश्क कर रहे हैं अल्लाह ताला उस दिन से. और हम अपनी जिंदगी में सारा दिन कितनी चीज़ों में वक्त स्पेंड कर देते हैं और वो इंतज़ार कर रहा होता है अब मेरी तरफ देखेगा मेरा बंदा, अब मेरी तरफ देखेगा प्यार से. देखते तो बड़ी दफ़ा मांगने के लिए, रिश्वत देने के लिए,
कि अल्लाह मैं ये कर दे, मैं इतने नफल पढ़ूंगी, अल्लाह मैं ये कर दे,
मुझे ये अल्लाह मिल जाए तो मैं ये वजीफ़ा कर रही हूँ, मैं ये सदका दे दूंगी. लेकिन कभी रब के साथ बैठ के 4 बोल मोहब्बत के, purely for the reason कि अल्लाह I love you so much. You have blessed me so much, I love you. And उस वक्त दुआ ही नहीं याद रहती कि दुआ क्या करनी थी, क्योंकि you're just lost in his love.
I remember जब मैं उम्रे पे गई थी, मैं तवाफ़ कर रही थी रंबाजी, और मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रही थी मैं मांगूँ क्या. मतलब मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रही थी कि मैं यहाँ आ गई हूँ और अब मुझे मांगना क्या है. And then I don't know, I just feel like हर मोहब्बत को अल्लाह की मोहब्बत के सामने ज़वाल है. Tried and tested.
And it's a journey. Because हम सब ज़ाहिर है, people have children, people have parents, spouses, so many things that we love. लेकिन नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने अपने सहाबा को कहा हुआ है कि जब तक मैं और अल्लाह ताला तुम्हें अपनी हर चीज़ से ज़्यादा अजीज़ नहीं होंगे, तुम्हारा ईमान मुकम्मल नहीं होगा. So that is a journey. That's our goal. May Allah Ta'ala take us there where we can love Allah and His Prophet more than anything, including our own life. More than Allah and His Prophet. Just that's it. If we could get there, inshallah, that would be wonderful. But I love that you keep getting tears in your eyes talking about Allah Ta'ala.
Because I just feel so like
happy. Because I know कि जब दिल नरम होता है तो उसके नाम पे किस तरह बार-बार आंसू आते हैं. And I love, Zara, I would love for you to talk about how you are studying the Quran right now, because this is, मेरा गोल यही है कि लोग खुद अपनी रिसर्च करना शुरू करें. So talk to us a little bit about how you are studying the Quran.
मैंने वैसे अरबी में 7वें सिपारे तक ही पढ़ा है, because can I have a tissue? क्योंकि मेरी अरबी बहुत ख़राब है. Because of course it's not my first language.
Thank you so much.
It's not my first language, but now very recently I've started reading the translation, and I try to do one surah every day. And I've just constantly realized that. So every surah,
and then you take notes.
I take notes.
You showed me those. Yes.
I make notes.
What were my takeaways from this?
Because every surah has a lesson, an opening and an end. It's so beautiful how the Quran is designed by Allah. हर चीज़ की एक शुरुआत है, मिडल है, एंड, और हर सूरत में एक लेसन है और हिस्ट्री का एक पार्ट है जिसके बारे में बताया गया है. So उसमें कॉन्स्टेंटली बार बार अल्लाह मियाँ कह रहे हैं, आई एम फॉरगिविंग, आई लव यू, come to me, ask for forgiveness. And एक बहुत खूबसूरत बात जो मैंने पढ़ी उसमें वो ये थी कि और हम तुम्हारे दिलों पे पर्दा डाल देंगे और तुम पहचान ही नहीं पाओगे कि क्या सच है. So it's so sad but yet so beautiful to know कि अगर आप अल्लाह मियाँ के पास नहीं जा रहे, if you're not talking about him, it's not because you're too busy, it's because आपके दिल पे पर्दा है. And वो आपसे आखिरी दिन आप कहेंगे ना कि मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि इस्लाम क्या है. अल्लाह मियाँ तो मैं तो जंगल में रहता था, मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि इस्लाम क्या है. बट आपके दिल में भी जो लाइट है ना, उसमें मज़े की बात है, पता है कि क्या सही और गलत है. वो जो ज़मीर है वो किसी रिलीजन का वो नहीं है स्लेव. वो ज़मीर अल्लाह मियाँ ने सबके अंदर डाला हुआ है जो बताता है कि सही और गलत क्या है. और अल्लाह मियाँ उस लेवल से आपकी उतनी उस नॉलेज से सवाल करेंगे.
सो ट्रू.
अगर आप मुसलमान नहीं भी हैं, इट्स फाइन. अगर आप अच्छे इंसान हैं, अल्लाह मियाँ आपकी उसी नॉलेज से आपसे उतना सवाल करेंगे.
क्योंकि ये हक नहीं है किसी के पास भी. हम नहीं बैठ के डिसाइड कर सकते कि किसने जाना है जन्नत में, किसने जाना है दोज़ख में. रब की मर्जी. अगर वो एक गुनाहगार तरीन शख्स की उसको कोई अदा भा गई और क़यामत के रोज़ वो मेरे सामने मुझे वो कहे कि चल बीबी तू इधर जा, और उस बंदे को उसने
फिर हम क्या करेंगे?
तो मुझे ये बताएं कि उस वक्त किसी की जुर्रत है कि मालिक कायनात ने कोई फैसला किया है. फरिश्तों की जुर्रत नहीं, हज़रत जिब्रील अमीन की जुर्रत नहीं कि क्वेश्चन कर सके. हम क्या, ये पिद्दी क्या और इसका शोरबा क्या, हम कौन होंगे उस वक्त सवाल करने वाले कि या अल्लाह तूने इसको क्यों बख्श दिया. उसकी मर्जी भाई, उसकी कायनात है,
उसकी मर्जी.
उसने ये हक सिर्फ अपने पास रखा
और अब अपनी मर्जी से कुछ लोगों को जितना नवाजता है वह नवाजता है. और मैं तो कहती हूँ अल्लाह का लाख लाख करम है जहाँ जिस स्टेज पे हम हैं, हमारे थ्रू अगर ये बात किसी को समझ आ जाती है, इस पॉडकास्ट से लोग बात सुन के शायद एक सूरत पढ़ लेते हैं या समझ लेते हैं कि हमारा अक्सर ज़िंदगी का मकसद क्या. आई फील लाइक इससे ज़्यादा खुशी मुझे मेरे किसी काम, किसी अवार्ड शो, किसी ड्रामे, किसी शूटिंग पे नहीं मिलती.
You will get so many blessings, Zara. You have no
जो मुझे
idea.
इस वक्त
तुम्हें मैं एक बताती हूँ एक और हदीस. नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया था, अल्लाह ताला कमी बेशी माफ़ करे, आई एम समराइजिंग इट, कि जब सहरा में एक बद्दू का ऊँट गुम हो जाए, you know, people that know the desert life, if a Bedouin loses his camel, that is a very tragic and certain death, a very painful death for the Bedouin, क्योंकि सहरा की मौत बहुत दर्दनाक मौत होती है. So एक ऐसा बद्दू जिसका खोया हुआ कैमल सडनली, यानी मायूस हो गया बद्दू और सडनली वो खोया हुआ कैमल वापस आ जाए, तो उस कैमल को देख के जो उस बदुअन के दिल में खुशी की लहर उठती है, उससे कहीं ज़्यादा रब के दिल में, रब को खुशी महसूस होती है जब उसका खोया हुआ बंदा उसकी तरफ वापस आ जाए. सो टू बी एबल टू इंस्पायर पीपल लाइक व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, you are an actor, you are living a wonderful, you know, normal life. आपको मॉडर्न, फैशनेबल जो भी है वो भी कह सकते हैं. उसके बावजूद you are creating this beautiful connection with Allah Ta'ala and you're not caring about what people say कि जी इस तकवा कॉस्ट्यूम में क्यों नहीं हो, इस तरह क्यों नहीं हो, उस तरह क्यों नहीं हो. You don't care because रब का और बंदे के कनेक्शन के दरमियान किसी तीसरे बंदे का हक ही नहीं कि वो इंटरफेयर कर सके. And because of you, if people get inspired कि मैंने भी ये कनेक्शन करना है, फिर all they have to do is really the first step. You don't have to take my course to form that connection. Really what you need is a sincere desire. Ask Allah Ta'ala. वो मालिक के कायनात ऊपर बैठा हुआ है, मेरा कोर्स क्या, मुझे भी उसने ही कोर्स सिखाया है, मुझे कहा I cannot take credit for it. If you don't take the course, just ask him कि Allah Ta'ala, I want to have this beautiful loving connection with you as well. I want to make you my best friend. So then he will give it to you. You will find a way. The teacher will appear. जिस तरह तुम्हारी जिंदगी में मैं appear हो गई, तुमने सोचा तो नहीं था, but I appeared in your life. So you'll find something.
And the timings were so divine. When I really, Eram Baji, I had stopped offering namaz also. Because I was like, it's not like it's making any difference. So why do it anyway? Acha, kya hai? And I was so lost. And that's when I realized, and that's when I met you. The timings were so divine. मुझे समझ ही नहीं आई कि आप मेरी ज़िंदगी में एकदम से enter हुई and a month and a half later, we're sitting here and shooting this, and
so beautiful.
I mean, yes, there are days that are low, but
and that's normal.
But it's normal, yeah.
It's a journey, and even I go through low days, यार. मैं सबको यही कहती हूँ, ये मत समझें कि मेरी जिंदगी बिल्कुल परफेक्ट है और मुझे किसी पेडिस्टल पे बिठा दे.
मेरा तो लाहौर से जाने का दिल नहीं कर रहा कि आप यहाँ आए. अब मैं वापस अपने घर कैसे जाऊंगी? My husband and my family is
तुम्हारे हस्बैंड से डंडे मुझे पड़ेंगे कि पता नहीं what has Eram done to Zara
क्या हो गया? लाहौर में छुट्टियां भी होती हैं, फिर भी you're in Lahore. Why come back to Karachi? But I don't know. I feel like I think there's a sense of security that you're here, that you're around, and इसी तरह की एक sense of security is obviously से बहुत ज़्यादा sense of security उम्रे पर थी. But I think ये बहुत कम places होती हैं जहाँ पर आपको ऐसी security चीज़ें feel होती हैं. And I have no inhibitions to finally admit it to you that you are my guru and my mentor.
Oh God, no, I'm not your guru.
No, but there's so much more that you have to teach me.
I'll be your, yes, inshallah. It's a lifelong journey, Jani.
Yeah.
I'm still learning too. I'm still learning as well. We are all students. We are all on this journey, and we're all learning. You've taught me. You know, every time I take a new, I conduct a new 30 days course, I learn too. Every time. And I learn from my own students as well. As they transform, I learn. We are all learning from each other. So, thank you so much, Zara. It was so wonderful.
Thank you so much. I know.
We can sit down and talk about this for hours. As we do normally.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing this with everybody, because I think तुम्हारा ये share करना बहुत से लोगों को inspire करेगा. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love you.